Akashwani presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Nishit Kumar. The headlines. President Droupadi Murmu decorated with the highest civilian honor of Suriname, the Grand Order of the Chain of Yellow Star. CBI begins probe into Balasore train accident in Odisha. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh and his German counterpart Boris Pistorius to hold talks in New Delhi today. Host of bilateral defense cooperation issues focusing on industrial cooperation likely to be discussed. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia advises airlines to check surge in airfares. Iran to reopen its diplomatic missions in Saudi Arabia from today, restoring diplomatic ties after 7-year closure. And in French Open tennis, quarter-finals to begin today. And now the news in detail. President Droupadi Murmu has been decorated with the highest civilian honor of Suriname, the Grand Order of the Chain of Yellow Star, in Paramaribo, the capital city of Suriname. She received the honor from the President of the Republic of Suriname, Chandrika Prasad Santokhi. President Murmu is the first Indian to receive this award. Accepting the highest honor bestowed upon her, the President said this is in recognition holds tremendous significance for not just her but for more than 1.4 billion Indians whom she represents. She said that the award symbolizes the enduring bond of cooperation between the two nations.
मुझे ये अद्वितीय सम्मान प्रदान करने के लिए मैं सूरीनाम के राष्ट्रपति और सूरीनाम की सरकार का हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ। ये मान्यता हमारे दोनों देशों के बीच दोस्ती और सहयोग की स्थायी बंधन का या अटूट बंधन का प्रतीक है।
President Murmu is on a 3-day state visit to Suriname. Yesterday, she held delegation-level talks with her Surinamese counterpart. During the discussions, the President noted that, like India, Suriname is also a diverse country where people of different castes, languages and religions live in peace and harmony. The government of India announced the supply of essential medicines worth 5.1 crore rupees to Suriname to aid the Caribbean country's flood relief efforts. A symbolic consignment of medicines was presented by President Murmu to President Santokhi in a ceremony at the Presidential Palace. At a special media briefing in Paramaribo, Saurav Kumar, Secretary East in the Ministry of External Affairs, said that amongst the various measures taken by the Indian government to strengthen bilateral ties between the nations, the government of India has extended the OCI facility to the 5th and 6th generation of persons of Indian origin in Suriname.
Mentioned the extension of the OCI card facility to the 5th and 6th generation persons of Indian origin who are in Suriname. This was a long-pending demand of the Indian diaspora in Suriname. India's commitment to socio-economic development projects in Suriname was announced by her.
Today, President Droupadi Murmu will visit Lala Rook Museum, the Arya Devakar Mandir and Sri Vishnu Mandir. Thereafter, the President will lay a wreath on the monument of Fufalen held in 1902, followed by a community reception for the Indian diaspora in Suriname. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar co-chaired the first India-Namibia Joint Commission with Namibian Foreign Minister Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah at Windhoek. In his opening remarks, Dr. Jaishankar said Namibia occupies a very special place in the hearts of Indians. He said India supported Namibia's independence and Indians were very pleased to see Namibia take its rightful place in the Committee of Nations. He said India-Namibia ties are forged in developmental cooperation, capacity building programs and political solidarity. Dr. Jaishankar said the Joint Commission will review and assess the progress of India-Namibia ties. He added that this process of high-level visits and constant dialogue will help navigate India-Namibia partnership better in times to come. The External Affairs Minister also inaugurated the India-Namibia Center of Excellence in Information Technology in Windhoek. He said this center will contribute to research, cybersecurity and good governance. The Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, has initiated a probe into the Balasore train accident in Odisha. East Coast Railway's Khurda Division sources said a 10-member team of the investigating agency visited the mishap site at Bahanaga yesterday. Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw, who is in Bahanaga to oversee the restoration work, said the CBI would investigate the circumstances of the train accident and the persons responsible for it. Railway Safety Commissioner Sailesh Kumar Pathak started probing the cause of the accident separately. Besides the Balasore government, Railway Police has also registered a case under various sections of the Indian Penal Code and Railway Act over the accident. Meanwhile, talking to Akashvani News, CPRO East Coast Railways Biswajit Sahu said train services on the accident route have been normalized.
Mahanagar site has already been restored and regular trains are continuously running. From yesterday morning itself, all the regular trains in the regular timings are running. You must have also seen that Vande Bharat has also run yesterday. So it's regular for running of trains. The main focus that we are giving now is on the injured people who need to be discharged from hospitals after their proper treatment.
Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh will hold talks with German counterpart Boris Pistorius in New Delhi today. The visiting dignitary arrived in the capital yesterday on a 4-day visit to India. A host of bilateral defence cooperation issues with focus on industrial cooperation are likely to be discussed during the meeting. The German Federal Minister of Defence is likely to meet a few defence startups during an event organised by Innovations for Defence Excellence in New Delhi. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia has shared his concerns over recent reports of abnormal surge pricing on certain air routes. In an hour-long meeting with the Airlines Advisory Group in New Delhi, Mr. Scindia discussed the issue of airfares. The minister emphasized that airlines must self-monitor airfares on certain select routes that have seen a considerable surge in pricing of late, particularly those that were earlier being serviced by Go First airline. Mr. Scindia said during any calamity, airlines need to keep a tight check on pricing of air tickets in view of the humanitarian situation and control any surge in ticket prices. He advised airlines to provide free carriage services to the families of the deceased of the rail accident in Odisha. In Madhya Pradesh, the 9th convocation ceremony of Lakshmi Bai National Institute of Physical Education, Gwalior, will be held today. The President of the Institute and Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Anurag Singh Thakur, will preside over the function. Mr. Thakur will confer degrees on more than 3,000 students from session 2017 to 2022. RBI's Monetary Policy Committee MPC will begin its meeting in Mumbai today before announcing the bi-monthly policy on Thursday. The 3-day MPC meeting comes in the backdrop of retail inflation declining to 4.7% after 18 months. According to experts, the 6-member committee headed by RBI Governor Shaktikant Das is likely to maintain the status quo on the key rates even after the ease in retail inflation to continue the declining trend. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Welcome back. Iran says it would reopen its diplomatic missions in Saudi Arabia from today, restoring diplomatic ties after a 7-year rift. Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesman Nasser Kanani said the Iranian embassy in Riyadh, its consulate general in Jeddah, and office of the permanent representative to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation would officially reopen today and tomorrow. In March, Iran and Saudi Arabia agreed to establish diplomatic ties in a Chinese brokered deal representing a major breakthrough in the region. Saudi Arabia broke ties with Iran in 2016 after protesters invaded Saudi diplomatic posts in Tehran and the northeastern city of Mashhad during demonstrations triggered by the execution of a prominent Shia cleric and 46 others in the oil-rich kingdom. In Haiti, at least 42 people have died and 11 are missing after heavy rains at the weekend-triggered flooding and landslides. According to the United Nations, the severe rains affected 37,000 people and displaced 13,400. According to Haitian officials, the town of Léogâne, located 40 kilometers southwest of the capital Port-au-Prince, was badly hit by flooded rivers and 20 people died. UN Coordinator of Humanitarian Action Haiti said thousands of families were affected in the town and urgently needed food, drinking water and medicine. Prime Minister Ariel Henry activated the National Emergency Operations Center in response. And back home, on the NDA government's completion of 9 years in office, Akashvani News brings you a series of special stories on initiatives taken by the government. Today, we take a look at the story on Hunar Haat. It is an effective platform wherein opportunity is given to artisans and craftsmen and culinary experts from across the country to showcase and market their handicrafts and indigenous products. Our correspondent has filed this report.
Hunar Haat is helping in promotion and preservation of languishing traditional arts, crafts and indigenous products, which is playing an effective role in the pledge of Swadeshi se Swavalamban and Vocal for Local, thereby contributing to the objectives of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Hunar Haat has generated employment and employment opportunities for artisans, craftspersons and associated persons and has further strengthened their market linkages. Hunar Haat has been widely acclaimed as a confluence of craft, cuisine and culture where traditional arts, culinary, attire and cultural heritage of different states and union territories are presented and exhibited. Ministry of Minority Affairs has tied up with the apex body of handicraft exporters in the country as a part of the Hunar Haat to promote exports of products and handicrafts of artisans and craftspersons at a wider international level. With Anupam Mishra, Suparna Sengya, Akashvani News, Delhi.
BJP President Jagat Prakash Nadda released a book titled Amrit Kal Ki Or, based on 9 years achievements of Narendra Modi government. Speaking on the occasion in New Delhi, Mr. Nadda said these years have transformed the country and its progress is being recognized by the world today. Minister of State for Atomic Energy and Space Dr. Jitendra Singh has said that in the last 9 years, 389 foreign satellites have been launched by India. In an interview with DD News, Dr. Singh said, India's space sector is fast gaining a preeminent position in the world. He said the countries which started their space programs long before India are today seeking India's services and facilities to launch their satellites. And on to sports now. In French Open tennis, quarterfinal action will kick off today with an unmissable schedule that features Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz and Aryna Sabalenka, among others. While Carlos Alcaraz will take on Greek Stefanos Tsitsipas, Djokovic will face Russia's Karen Khachanov in the men's singles. In the women's singles, second seed Aryna Sabalenka will face Ukraine's Elina Svitolina, while Czech Republic's Karolina Muchova will be up against Anastasia Palyochenkova in the quarterfinals. Yesterday, Serbian third seed Djokovic defeated Peru's Juan Pablo Varillas to reach a record 17 French Open men's quarterfinals. In world number 1, Alcaraz won against 17th-seeded Lorenzo Musetti of Italy. Team India will play their second consecutive World Test Championship WTC final in as many editions and will look to go one better this time around as they take on Australia at the Oval in London for the summit clash tomorrow. Australia topped the WTC points table in the 2021-23 cycle with 66.67% in 19 tests. India made its cut for the final with 58.8 PCT after beating the Kangaroos 2-1 in the recently concluded Border Gavaskar Trophy series at home. And now for a look at today's newspapers, it's over to Anita Anand.
Thank you, Nishit. India and US seal Defence Cooperation Roadmap, headlines Hindustan Times. After delegation-level talks between Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh and US Defence Secretary Lloyd Austin. Services resume at Balasore train crash site is a cover page story in the Tribune. Rich nations must rise above selfish interest to save climate, says PM Modi on the occasion of World Environment Day, reports the Panya. IIT Madras backs the top position in the National Institutional Ranking Framework of Higher Education Institutions, according to the Hindu. Indians bagged 73% of H-1B visas in 2022, according to the Times of India. RBI panel proposes extending deposit insurance to prepaid instruments is the top story in Business Line. And finally, a relatively cooler summer may delay the onset of monsoon, says a report in Hindustan Times. And with that, it's back to you, Nishit.
Thank you, Anita. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. President Droupadi Murmu decorated with the highest civilian honor of Suriname, the Grand Order of the Chain of Yellow Star. CBI begins probe into Balasore train accident in Odisha. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh and his German counterpart Boris Pistorius to hold talks in New Delhi today. Host of bilateral defence cooperation issues focusing on industrial cooperation likely to be discussed. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia advises airlines to check surge in airfares. Iran to reopen its diplomatic missions in Saudi Arabia from today, restoring diplomatic ties after 7-year closure. And in French Open tennis, quarterfinals to begin today. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.